Drew Morlock. Guys, welcome to the Century Sessions here on KMA. Live music back on in the evenings. Dusty Skahill here. Like I said, Drew Morlock beside me. Did that little ditty intro for me in first try, no cuts. That's how we do things around here, Drew. Ain't that right? We don't do much prep. We just kind of get one thing going. All right, is that ready? We'll put it on and go. Drew, thanks for coming here again, man. I'm glad to have you. Fun one we had last week, huh?
Absolutely. It was a great time.
So let's go ahead and introduce David G. Smith. He's going to be number 2 with us here for the Century Sessions. I got hooked up with him once again from Bill Hillman. Got to give him a big shout out as always. David is Iowa native, been in Nashville a bunch as well. Here to play some great songs for us from some of his albums, and man, he's got a long history. And so, David, just real quick for our listeners, but you're probably going to be the longest traveling one from the summer tour, the summer lineup we have. So just give a little bit of a history, background of yourself as a musician, and start from wherever you want and go ahead and plug whatever you want.
Again, Dusty and Drew, thanks for having me on, and Bill Hillman, thank you so much for the referral. And history. Well, so I am a native Iowan. Grew up in the backyard of Field of Dreams up there by Dyersville, Worthington. Ended up in Cascade for many years. Through high school and that, and home of the voice of the Iowa Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin. Played a little basketball with Gary. And I grew up in a home, 5 siblings. Our parents, we all played, and extended family members played. So, you really didn't have much of a chance to not play something. And I guess it was second grade, piano lessons were mandatory. So, and then most of us self-taught from that point. So 3 brothers, 2 sisters. My brothers and sisters are all better than I am. And my sisters got a scholarship for flute and piccolo up to Northern Iowa, performance piano for my sister Diane over at University of Iowa, where I graduated. 2 brothers, percussionists, one that's another one's a guitar player, mandolin player. We had all the bases covered pretty much to put a band together. And over the years, we have done that. We've done what's called the Family Smith. We've got 3 or 4 albums that called that and recorded. So just a thumbnail, I moved from, after graduating University of Iowa, I went out to Colorado for 10 years. And played all original rock and roll music out there with a group called Robin Banks Band. Played keyboards for them, and I was one of 3 writers. And 10 years out there, and then finally realized, I think I like writing songs. And so I made a move down to Nashville, and I've either lived there or a working relationship with Nashville for the past pushing 25 years now. So
man, fantastic!
Yeah.
I liked how the Smith family band was the thing that you guys have been doing a couple of times. That's almost kind of the foundation of why we're doing this here tonight for Century Sessions. Kind of the KMA used to feature those kinds of bands all the time. They'd have a family band on and be from kids to the dad, and just like you said, you gotta have the foundation of you start it. You are gonna do some music, but that's interesting to go now figure it out on yourself. Everybody self-teach yourself. So.
Well, and around here they had, speaking of family, they had one little family called Everleys.
Yeah, someone like that. We talked about them a lot last week. But yeah, I mean, it's just I love that story already. So I mean, David, I say let's go ahead and just get into some music as well. What do you want to start us off with here? Is it something older of yours, or is it something you want to start off with something new? What do you got for us?
I think I'll take a cue from Bill, who was in here just a little bit ago, and it got me thinking. We have a mantra in our camp here that you never know where, as a songwriter, where a song is going to take you. And this goes out to anybody out there that was associated with Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, camp leaders, scout masters, whatever. This is a song that I wrote with Dean Madonia in Nashville that became that was on my 5th album, I believe. That is a real song about real people. And this person was one of Dean's, was a scout leader for Dean, but kind of filled this void for Dean as a father figure, because his father went kind of MIA on him when Dean was about 8 or 9 years old for a couple of years. And this scoutmaster kind of stepped in. So this is called Doesn't Take Much Light to Shine in the Dark. Pretty much meaning you just never know how some action you take is going to affect somebody in a good way.
I love it. David G. Smith, take it away.
I called my old scoutmaster, Ernest J., out of the blue. His wife said he's having a bad day. He'd be glad to hear from you. Ernest J. came on the line, and I talked about me growing up poor and not having my dad around. I figured out where the money came from for summer camp. Because of you, those were some of the best days I ever had. I haven't forgotten, and I wanted to tell you that. It's why I called. Now the smallest gesture can spark a life, kindle the courage to fight the good fight, to get the picture, look up at any star. Well, it doesn't take much light to shine in the dark. Ernest J., your wife tells me you're not feeling well because you've got something doctors think it's Parkinson's. Yeah, you said I've had it for a few years and it's been rough. Like they say, some days you're the windshield, some days you're the bug. Sometimes I tell myself I'm gonna win. Sometimes I just wanna toss the towel in. On days like today, it's good to get help to remind me who I am. And that the smallest gesture can spark a life, kindle the courage to fight the good fight, to get the picture, look up at any star. Well, it doesn't take much light to shine in the dark. Hey, Ernest J., I'm meeting with my scouts tonight. Gonna set up a telescope and point it at the sky. Put it into focus. I'm gonna tell them what you always told us. That the smallest gesture can spark a life, kindle the courage to fight the good fight, to get the picture, look up at any star. Well, it doesn't take much light to shine in the dark.
David G. Smith on Century Sessions. Dave, that was a great one. Good one to start off with. Good choice for sure. Welcome back, everybody, to Century Sessions. Want to remind everyone what we are. We're live music here on KMA. Want to promote that we are doing a fundraiser for the Wabash Trace, as well as we got the summer lineup for the Century Sessions on a T-shirt. The T-shirt selling at County Line Design. Go ahead and order your T-shirt. Support the Wabash Trace, as Bill Hillman and Becca Laughlin have helped me out to even get this thing started on the brainchild of it all, so we have to give them a shout-out as well. Bill's had enough shout-outs here. Although I am going to say one more thing. We are here in studio with David G. Smith. His wife, Sharon, is here with us as well. She's helped setting up stuff, she's a roadie, groupie, all the thing in one, isn't she? And the boss and management. That is a good point. Absolutely. I was going to say, Sharon, you're kind of right where Bill Hillman was kind of parked up yesterday. We didn't have a camera the last time here, and he was just like a hibernating bear almost, sitting there for a couple times. Only cell phone to go off during that whole time was the 6 minutes that Bill Hillman was sitting in here. Like I said, David G. Smith is in studio with us playing some great music. Already started off with one. Him and Drew, I was hearing them talk before we were hitting the live of it all here on KMA. And, man, it was fun to hear those two, not to say new school, old school talking to each other, but it was a changing of the guard of knowledge being passed.
Serious shop there. Oh, yeah.
And I didn't give away on who was the new school and who was the old school. That's just still a mystery out there. But Drew, you did have some questions for him. I thought it was a poignant one to start off with, so take it over, Drew. What do you want to ask David for? Maybe listeners could even find interesting.
Yeah. David, you were talking about that song. It's written about real people, and you're obviously a very disciplined songwriter. So when you sit down to write a song, where does it usually begin? Does it start with an emotion, a lyric, a melody? Where does it start for you?
Yeah, here we go already. It can come from anywhere. It could come from some kind of instrument lick. Usually for me it's a guitar lick or a keyboard lick or something. As I get more into this mystery, if you will, of songwriting, it can come from something I hear off the radio. I mean, your songwriters have antenna that have got to be in tune and up all the time to really get the job done. At least that's the way I find it. And I can't remember anything. I mean, whatever happened 5 minutes ago, I don't remember it, but I got to write this stuff down.
Yeah.
So, but it can come from another song. You just constantly are looking around, and I've seen it from magazine articles. I do a lot of book reading. I listen to a lot of stories on tape, and if something just hits me right away, this thing, right here on my device.
Sure.
Yeah, and I copy that down into notes or reminders or whatever. So
I feel like I'm always going to pull parallels with comedians, but they always say it's like a happy little accident all of a sudden just comes. Like just to go, oh, yes, catch that right there. I need to write that down.
And the thing about that is it's I feel like I'm a conduit, and I don't try to direct where songs, what they want to say. I don't try to direct that, what direction they want to go in. It's really trusting the process. That's something I use a lot in my songwriter workshops. Trusting the process, knowing that the song will eventually say what it needs to say if you let it. Yeah. Keep the editor out of the room when you're writing that sucker, and just see where it takes you. And so that's part of the adventure. Yeah. So I hope I had an answer for you in there.
How much of the songwriting process is that? How much do you get from that initial inspiration? Is it, is that just the tip of the iceberg, and then you got to sit and hammer away at it and dwell over it and kind of the grunt work type thing for the other 90% of the song?
I think for most of the songs, for me, yes. So that kind of brings to mind, well, are you an inspirational writer, or are you a blue-collar, show-up-everyday writer? And I'm the latter, And that's another part of trusting the process. I show up every day. So does the song. Yeah. It reveals itself for the most part. And part of it, I've got a workshop that I do called The Mystery of Songwriting. And the mystery part of it is, how come this one song you just wrote is killer? And you can tell because the audience is responding to it, and then the next two you write suck. What just happened there? Why is that going on?
Is there a lot of them too? You're like, the audience, you don't understand. This song is awesome. How come you guys don't like this? And they're like your favorites. You just can't let go. Can't let go of that one.
Sort of, but it's almost like the audience. On the other hand, the audience won't lie.
True.
It's almost like the Walmart thing. The customer's always right.
Whoa, what? Drew, anything else on songwriting before? I obviously we could just keep going, but that first song was already too captive enough. I got to hear another one.
I'd love to hear another.
All right, let's do it. David G. Smith, let's hear another one. First off, what was that first guitar?
Okay, the first one is a carbon composite. And if you're asking about the guitar,
yeah,
and that was made by a company out of Louisiana. I think they started in the 90s. They sold their company. I bought this guitar before they sold their company to a little company called Hartley Peavy. Peavy. So, but it's a carbon composite, and I've not seen another one like it. Now, Rain Song, is out there. They do the carbon composite thing too, but that's what that thing is. It's a great workhorse guitar.
Sharp looking. So, shout out to the guys out there in the parking lot. We got some parked out there. Even though we're at odd start time tonight at 5:40. Beck Allen, awesome that they get out there. But hey, David, let's take it away. What's the next one we're gonna play?
So I want to honor. So I'm a songwriter. And I'm going to pull out a song that I did not write, but I did record. And this is a song that I think Dave Moore has played out here one time or another, and hopefully Bill has got him lined up again. But for years I wanted to do something that Dave had written, and finally got around to it on the last album. And I grew up with Dave's wife, Lisa. And Dave is in the camp, just for you get some reference point out there for maybe some of us who are a little older. Greg Brown and Bo Ramsey and Dave Moore all came up together in that sort of camp or that time frame. So this is just a fun little thing that that he put together. And I write a lot of heavy stuff. Today I wanted to be able to do some of the more intimate songs. But we gotta have a little fun too. So right,
I already like the hook of the easy to find light in the darkness. That's already a good one. A little one to start off with.
Little contrast thing there, and so
I love it. Is that the little sparkle of that one that started that one? Was that a hook on that one to get that one going?
Yeah, this let's take our time and do it right. Again, a little fun thing like we've been working too hard at this, and take a little time off. So
take it away.
Come on, baby, we're finally alone. Maybe it's time we disconnect that phone. Come on, darling, it ain't so late. I don't care who has to wait. Let's take our time and do it right. Let's take our time and do it right. You know we got all night. Let's take our time and do it right. I put the bill collector right out of your mind. Dishes in the sink and your troubles behind. I love you, darling, and I've told you so. But the way we've been running, you'll be the last to know. Let's take our time and do it right. Let's take our time and do it right. You know we got all night. Oh, let's take our time and do it right. Oh, it's a mean old world waiting outside, but I know a place, honey, we can hide. Right here, darling, enough is enough. That old world just got between the two of us. Let's take our time and do it right. Let's take our time and do it right. You know we got all night. I say we got all night, yeah we do. You know we got all night, yeah, let's take our time and do it right.
David G. Smith taking his time and doing it right himself here on Century Sessions. Man, that was excellent. Thank you for sharing that one with us. Guys, like I said, welcome to Century Sessions here on KMA. And we kind of want to bring you to the fruition of why Drew and I are doing this. I mean, not only reason having it live music on KMA as we thought that was a missing here, but also just want to promote live music in general, live music, local artists, local venues, all that good stuff. And speaking of local venues, we already mentioned him enough today, so we won't even say his name. But David G. Smith will be at the Depot Deli tomorrow for sure. Playing for their Thirsty Thursday. So not only is this our way to KMA land and beyond to here, David, but if you are in Shenandoah tomorrow night, Thirsty Thursdays, go get yourself some barbecue, listen to some bluesgrass and picking styles of David G. Smith, and that was going to be the next one we're going to get into here with our questions here. Drew, actually, you go ahead and ask because that might be a formal, more better way you put it.
And one of the things that I remember you most, I came and saw you last year at Thirsty Thursday, was that your technique, your guitar playing technique, you know, and that song especially, it was very Mississippi Delta blues type style with the slide and the open tuning. So how much of that is self-taught and how much of that has been shown to you by somebody else?
Yeah. You know, probably about 50-50 and shown by somebody else. I wish I had have had the opportunity to visit in person with Blind Willie Johnson or with some of the blues players that handled, you know, like Robert Johnson. But no, I had to learn it off of YouTube. Yeah. You know, so when I say I learned from others, but that's how I did it. Yeah. KMA is on one of my records, and I just, you know, I love what he does. I love what he brings to the table. I love his style of finger picking and resonator playing and slide work. And that was, what a coup to have him on one of my records. So, and the other thing that kind of drove that, I didn't really want to be another guitar player who played harmonica, you know, with the rack on it. That's cool and everything. And Dave Moore, for one, is really good at it. So there's plenty of really good ones out there. And doesn't Jeff Slater, doesn't he do that little thing with the, yeah, Jeff, I'm talking about you, buddy.
He wishes.
He wishes.
Is that thing on his neck an auto tuner probably around underneath his collar?
That was just downright mean. But I didn't want to do that, and I wanted to pick up something, and it was just so the rest was self-taught, like a lot of my, and it shows. I mean, I'm just sort of a junk guitar player, you know, that gets me by, but you know, gets the job done.
Sure.
You know, so.
You mentioned YouTube, and before when you were talking about songwriting, you mentioned you write things down on your phone. So how has technology evolved and aided you and changed the way that you write songs?
Right, because I'm shocked that the first answer was YouTube was how you learned how to finger pick. That's interesting.
Yeah, you know, not so much about, you know, we experimented a little bit with ChatGPT, some other AI, but and there's New Song, where you're putting the whole song together to save money on demos, and it's whoa. I mean, it's incredible what these apps can do now. But I'm not using them a whole lot right now. The technology I'm using is Zoom or FaceTime to see the person I'm writing with, if we're doing a co-write, from a distance. Yeah. That opens up a brand new world. I can write with somebody from China. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, teleport.
Right. Exactly. So we, as a matter of fact, during the year of COVID, we used technology to broadcast a show, a 45-minute show once a week for 52 weeks in a row. And our idea, we reached, our metadata said we reached over 20,000 people during that year period. And so we use that, and I also use it to write, really, Witness Trees, the last album that we put out. Every day we were at the desk, we were working on songs. And so that's how I'm using technology, Zoom and whatever else, Skype at one point.
Sure. Proactive, that's how I would almost call it, is what it seems like to me, Drew, is how he kind of approaches it. Like, if he sees the opportunity, it's going to be necessary, that's how he starts to use it. David, I want to hear another song. We'll get into how people can hear you more and beyond just the depot after you play here. We'll take a quick break as well, but let's do a one song before we do that.
Okay, well, I'm going to jump right into the one on the recent album that I think everybody out there can relate to this thing. And by the way, we're switching guitars here. This is a 1953 Southern Jumbo Gibson, and I used it all over this last record and definitely on this song here. So I wrote this again with Tom Favreau. Tom's one of my regular writers, and the guy's he's just so much fun to work with, and has just good ideas all the way around.
So this is from Witness Trees?
This is actually from the latest new album that we're in the process of releasing now. And so everybody out there, you're getting a sneak peek.
Teaser for when we'll promote it.
Yeah. So this is from Hero Street album, and it's called In the Back Row.
Oh, fantastic.
The awkward and the too tall, the timid and the too small, outcast in the bathroom for a smoke. the quiet ones who suffered, stammered and stuttered, always on the butt end of a joke. Were we so different, the unsure and the innocent, the rebels and the dissidents you pretended not to know? We flunked a few back in those days, but we made the grade in other ways. Let's hear it for the kids and anyone who sits in the back row. We became bus drivers, soldiers and songwriters, missionaries helping those in need. We've been to the moon and back, each of us found our own path. Hey, not bad for those most likely never to succeed. Were we so different, the unsure and the innocent, the rebels and the dissidents you pretended not to know? We flunked a few back in those days, but we made the grade in other ways. Let's hear it for the kids and anyone who sits in the back row. No dates, heartbreaks, lost friends, brave face. We all fought our battles. Front or middle, wasn't there a little bit of back row in all of us? Were we so different, the unsure and the innocent, the rebels and the dissidents you pretended not to know? We flunked a few back in those days, but we made the grade in other ways. Let's hear it for the kids and anyone who sits in the back row.
David G. Smith in the back row from Hero Street. That was awesome. Here, we got to take a quick break here on Century Sessions. Shout out to everybody sitting in the parking lot. Listen out there. Becca and Bill, I can see you guys having fun out there. We'll be back right after this to bring you more here on KMA. Legit Music on Broadway in downtown Council Bluffs is proud to present the Century Sessions here on KMA. Legit Music loves supporting local music and local artists across Southwest Iowa and beyond. Whether you're a beginner picking up your first instrument or a seasoned musician searching for that perfect sound, Legit Music strives to provide the best service around and offers the area's largest selection of high-end guitars. Stop in and see why musicians trust Legit Music in Council Bluffs, proud partner of the Century Sessions here on KMA.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
The Depot Deli in Shenandoah is known for great food 7 days a week. However, there is so much more that Bill and his crew bring to Shenandoah and beyond. They love to support good fun and good music, and that's why they are excited to help support Century Sessions, like the one you are enjoying right now. And there's more on the way. Make sure to tune in Monday, May 25th for Larry Dunn. So continue tuning in this evening and then stop by the Depot for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and thank them for their support of the arts in KMA land.
Welcome back here to Century Sessions here on KMA. David G. Smith in the studio, Dusty Skahill, Drew Morlock here. We'll be here all summer bringing you guys the Century Sessions here on KMA. Live music is back. A couple things we want to shout out back from the break. Wilson Rocks event coming up here. We mentioned Jeff Slater already once. Well, we want to mention that the Wilson Rocks will be Saturday, June 13th. And that, he wanted it to grow, and in from year one to year 2, it has grown big time. So that'd be Saturday, June 13th, downtown here at the Depot. Street and dance music will be 5:30, and even the vendor markets across the street, they're at the market. That's starting at noon. All-day event, Gas and Grass, Gallivant playing. Big deal at Wilson Rocks. You'll be hearing us more talk about that constantly until they're upcoming on June 13th. But we're back here in studio. David G. Smith in studio with us. Here's a little bit of a look at his merch that he has at his table that he'll be offering tomorrow there at the Depot Deli when he's playing here in downtown Shenandoah. But, hey, David, let's kind of go ahead and talk about you as an artist now. What are you doing here to try to get your music out there? Where can people find you beyond here, just the Century Sessions and the Depot?
Yeah, we try to drive all of our traffic to social media traffic to davidgsmithmusic.com. And it's a safe site. That's important for a lot of people. You can use your credit card out there. We also have PayPal set up. And we want to impress during this show as well as any show we do that we've got a give back component, and that's kind of a cornerstone to Hey Dave Music, which is my record company. And you can get a sort of a bird's eye view by going out to the website and look for the Give Back Series page, and it'll give you an idea of the kind of give back. For instance, we have donated as many as 25 guitars and keyboards to a high school, and for their music program department. We have raised money for St. Jude Children's Hospital, for Rett syndrome, for Alzheimer's. And I think for some things right here in Shenandoah, Iowa, wherever we are touring across the U.S., we're happy to go local and support whatever needs to happen out there locally. So, hey, that's the best place. We like to get everybody out to davidgsmithmusic.com.
Yeah, all of that even sounded why you're perfect to come on here, what my mission and so, that just kind of jives with everything, and why Bill, obviously suggested you to come on here. We've squeezed you in. We don't usually do them at a weird time. I try to avoid Royals and Cardinals games while they're playing tonight. So instead of a 7 p.m. start, we're going 5:40 to 6:40 just because I wanted David in here so bad. So, David, I guess I know Drew has a question for you, but I also do you want to play a song? I don't want it to be like.
Oh, yeah. What do you got?
All right, here we go. That's about that new album there, Drew.
I'd love to talk about the new album and it. Real quick, last time you were in town, I think Bill mentioned you donated to the Kinsey Rooker Trail that they just put up down by the hospital. So that's very nice of you. Yeah. Thanks for that.
Yeah, you bet.
So let's talk about the new album, Hero Street. What's the tone of the album? What are some of the big inspirations behind it, and what's the story of it, the journey of it?
The inspiration, and this is such a compelling story, an extensive story, and about a place that's actually called Hero Street. In our own backyard where I live out in Bluegrass near the Quad Cities. And it's a street in Illinois, Silvis, Illinois, real street, real people there, and it tells a story of 8 soldiers, 6 of which fought in World War II, and 2 that fought in the Korean War, and the families and community that they came from. When that story starts with the Mexican Revolution back in the early 1900s. And so for this song, as soon as I heard this story back, just as the year before COVID started, I dropped everything. I got in the car. It's a 30-minute drive from my place. I walked up and down this block-and-a-half long street that was by then called Hero Street, but it was 2nd Street in Silvis, Illinois, and just to get a feel for the place. And then I started doing research on it. And this is like, where do I get my inspiration? Well, I heard the story, and where I heard it from were 2 filmmakers that I end up working with. Now, this is, you talk about serendipity and the stars coming together and the planets lining up and all that. That's what happened big time. A third party who knew we were working independently of each other, the filmmakers and me, on the same project. So he finally hooked us up. So the long story short, this title cut, and it's called Hero Street, is on a soundtrack for one of the 9 episodes now. The entire song is on there. A lot of times you get just little clips of instrumental clips and stuff. But this is, and since you brought that up, I think maybe I need to play that song. I was gonna play something else here on the resonator, but we'll we'll just get right to that.
We're going to say it all summer long. Drew and I kind of might just have to fly off the seat of our pants anyway. So, yeah, I would say a change of to Hero Street. That's the proper way of going about it. And, yeah, heavy subjects again. I would say that's quite a story of how the origin of that was.
And I hardly do it justice in just 2 or 3 minutes trying to describe that thing. But we're talking the Mexican Revolution that involves Pancho Villa. And they're battling the heavies down there. There's 3 or 4 of them that are they're just turning the Mexico upside down. People are eating dirt. They're mixing dirt within their food. So the Rock Island Railroad, this happens during World War I. There's a labor shortage in the U.S. The Rock Island Railroad put the word out to Mexican people, we will put you to work up here. That's how they end up in Silvis, Illinois. And this story starts. So I will go back to this carbon composite here, and it's a very stripped down version. We've got maybe I think a steel guitar in this guitar, and just a little percussion. So it's called Hero Street.
Take it away.
Mexican Revolution families fleeing for their lives. A diamond new Laredo got 'em over the borderline. Rock Island Railroad jobs got 'em on their feet. A little bit of hope sprung out of the mud down Hero Street. They lived in boxcar houses and built a boxcar church. Strangers in a strange land giving thanks to be able to work. Through soot and smoke and bitter cold, through suffocating heat, a little bit of pride grew out of the mud down on Hero Street. No greater love, brother, than to lay down your life for another down on Hero Street. These refugees gave their all with lives that left their marks, even gave their soldier sons who brought home purple hearts. For those in little Mexico, life was bittersweet, who raised themselves out of the mud down on Hero Street. No greater love, brother, than to lay down your life for another down on Hero Street. Late gold stars for 8 good men, all were Mexican American. May you all find some peace down on Hero Street. Well, Bloody Ridge, Bunker Hill, the Rhine and Lido Road, Hedgerow Hell and Sinner's Dream and a Philco radio. The music died and mamas cried, and everywhere their grief rose up out of the mud down on Hero Street. No greater love, brother, than to lay down your life for another. Yeah, down on Hero Street.
Yeah, Hero Street from David G. Smith from the album Hero Street, the lead-off track there from his album there. David, that's a very excellent song, good story writing and storytelling and songwriting as well. David G. Smith here on Century Sessions. We're here from 5:40 to 6:40. We got about 20 minutes left here. About 6:10, David, my GM listening in, emailed me. He goes, "Hey, I've actually seen this guy down at the Bluebird in Nashville." And we were just going to, me and Drew were going to bring this up even anyway. So, okay. I mean, Drew, what do you want to ask him specifically about it even? I guess if you want to bring it up.
The Bluebird itself, it's hard to get into as a performer or an audience member, right? And we just learned before we went on air that you kind of have a residency there, kind of a recurring thing.
Maybe a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. How did that come to be?
I started making. I was using technology to stay connected with Nashville. So that back in 2000, I started to go in with other people to do shows before the Bluebird Cafe became a thing. Now it's on the tour circuit. You come to Nashville, you go see the Ryman, you go see the Grand Ole Opry. You might go to see Vince Gill over to Third and Lindsley Bar and Grill. But also on the list is the Bluebird now. And so, but before that happened, you couldn't get, the place holds 100 people. We would bring people, we would have a show down there 4 or 5 of us. We could fill the place. They remembered that. And so when Nashville Songwriters Association took over the Bluebird from Amy Curlin about 17, 18 years ago, they actually called me up. They remembered that. And they said, David, you want to host some shows down here? And I'm like, first off, they don't call anybody. But they called several of us to do that.
David Smith, pretty common name. You're like, you sure? That's why you have to have G. Are you
you
sure
the
this
right
is David
here?
G. Smith?
Yeah, and if I don't have the right name, I will find the right name to have.
Do show up. Yeah, I would say it. David, regardless, show up. Show
Are you
up.
sure you're not trying to reach out to Bill Hillman?
He doesn't know how to spell it, remember?
S-M, never. So,
you've already confused him.
But that was, I remember sitting over at BMI. At the time, we were in a writing session, and I told my co-writer, Lynn, I said, you won't believe who just called me. And so went from there. So yeah, what a wonderful opportunity. Still, they've stayed in my corner the whole time. Our next gig there will probably be in the fall. We were there last September. So I always tell people, I was telling Drew and Dusty that it's hard to get in there as just as an audience member. But if I'm there and you see that I'm going to be there, and you from my website, and you're going to be there, I'm saying this over the air, guys. Get in touch through my website, and we got a good chance of getting you in
the Bluebird House.
We've done this many times. Yeah, Bluebird Cafe. Yeah. So yeah.
Don't give Matheny a big head for saying that he's hard to get an audience member in there. But that's odd, David. I would say let's get one more song before we take our last commercial break, and then we'll take it on out from 640 as well. But let's hit us with another one real quick. Yeah, you bet. So we were talking about. There's a lot of magic in Nashville, and it's part of the magic is who you get to meet and who I've been able to work with. And I'm going to do a song, and we were talking about slide guitar and some influences, and I mentioned KMA. And I was in a studio working with Blue Miller, who worked with India Ari, and get to work with all these cool guys. So one day we're in there working on this song called "I Can't Tell," and I just sort of off the cuff said it'd be nice to get some KMA slide guitar in on this. And long story short, 6 months later, it turned out Blue, my producer, knew KMA, got him in there, and he's on this record. He's on this song, and it's called "I Can't Tell." And we also got Alicia Mashilly, who was a semifinalist on America's Got Talent. So I get to work with all these cool people. Very cool. Take it away, David. Yeah, I Can't Tell. My first girlfriend was sweet. My second girlfriend was swell. The first girl found out about my second girl, and that did not go so well. That's another story. Ooh, that's another story that I can't tell. I give a little money to my mama. Give a little money to whoever needs help. And then there is the IRS-OL. That's another story. Ooh, that's another story that I can't tell. Well, I can't tell. He can't tell. I can't tell. He can't tell. If I'm heading for heaven or hell. I love my friends and family, love most everyone else.
Mean and nasty people who hate, they can go straight to, well, that's another story. Ooh, why not? That's another story that, well, I can't tell. Well, I can't tell, he can't tell, I can't tell, he can't tell, if I'm heading for heaven or hell. Contemplated and I have ruminated. I know I've led a life that won't sit well. I talked to the devil and I have talked to Jesus. They both left me talking to myself. Oh, so now I can't tell, I can't tell, he can't tell, if I'm heading for heaven or hell. So whichever place I end up, you won't know, because that'll be one more thing I won't be able to discuss. It's gonna be another story, yeah, another story that I can't tell. Ooh, yeah. I said I can't tell, no, I can't tell, I can't tell.
Oh, man. David G. Smith here on Century Sessions. We'll take our last quick break, bring you right back here for some more live music here on KMA. I knew that wasn't going to be enough time for have a full hour here. We'll be back to here for more of David speak, play, sing, all of it here on KMA. We'll be back right after this.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Legit Music on Broadway in downtown Council Bluffs is proud to present the Century Sessions here on KMA. Legit Music loves supporting local music and local artists across Southwest Iowa and beyond. Whether you're a beginner picking up your first instrument or a seasoned musician searching for that perfect sound, Legit Music strives to provide the best service around and offers the area's largest selection of high-end guitars. Stop in and see why musicians trust Legit Music in Council Bluffs, proud partner of the Century Sessions here on KMA.
The Depot Deli in Shenandoah is known for great food 7 days a week. However, there is so much more that Bill and his crew bring to Shenandoah and beyond. They love to support good fun and good music, and that's why they are excited to help support Century Sessions, like the one you are enjoying right now. And there's more on the way. Make sure to tune in Monday, May 25th for Larry Dunn. So continue tuning in this evening and then stop by the Depot for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and thank them for their support of the arts in KMA land.
And welcome back here to Century Sessions here on KMA. David G. Smith is in studio. Dusty Skahill, Drew Morlock beside me. And when I first started this thing, my wife kind of asked me, goes, what do you want? What do you want to do out of this? What's your goal? I didn't really have a great answer other than I just wanted really people to resonate and like it and want to be a part of it. And actually now as I took a picture of you two, him with David playing and Drew listening, I really want that picture to be like, yeah, that one time, that's the album. The time I had Drew Morlock and David G. Smith in the studio at the same time. That's my new goal, I think, for this to come to fruition. But like I said, back in studio with David G. Smith. He's going to be at the Depot Deli tomorrow for their Thirsty Thursdays. Check that out. Get some good eats, cool drinks, and always going to have some good tunes here from David. Drew, I think we were touched all of them we really want to touch on here so far. Thank you guys all for listening to Century Sessions on this odd time tonight. But let's get to another interesting point here before we hear David play.
David, as we look forward into your career and as you keep going and leave us today and go on to whatever else you're going to do, what motivates you and what inspires you as you keep putting out new songs and keep recording and keep working as a musician?
Yeah, I think, and it's my wife Sharon and I have talked about this ad nauseum over the years of creating the life that you want to live, and it's a pattern that we have, I think, been able to develop. And the other part of this, I keep thinking that why do I want to write songs and keep doing that? Because that's what drives everything as far as the music part of it, and it's really the mystery of it. It's the challenge of it. And again, going back to that, a little bit of a joke before that. Why is one song working so well and then the next two or three just don't? And that's a constant. That always brings me back and draws me in. And what's the next one? It's the adventure of it. It really is the adventure of it. I don't know why it's such a high, but it never lets you down. And to connect with an audience, that's even better in some ways. But there's nothing like finishing up a song that oh, this is good.
How about what's the comparison feeling between coming up with one that's good, like, oh, that's the sensation, and then the affirmation of an audience resonating with it? Is there one better than the other, or that's the 50-50 and to make it 100?
I think it's better than sex.
Whoa, Sharon.
Did I just say that?
Sharon, sorry. Didn't mean that.
They picked right up on that.
These songs are pretty good, I suppose.
They are, yeah. And that's it. I mean, it's the combination. One makes the other better.
Sharon's just going to tell you to take your time and get it right next time.
Let's take our time and okay. Okay, we could cut the show right here.
It's a good time
That's
to cue up a
wrap.
song. We have time for one more song. Let's play it. One
yeah.
more to get David in here and check him out at the Depot tomorrow. But what are we playing here to end it, dear David?
This was the first single off the last album, Witness Trees, called River Gonna Talk, and it ended up on the collegiate chart. NACC chart, number one ad right ahead of Ben Harper. We were feeling pretty good about that. And then it ended up on the Radio Guitar One Americana chart in a number one position later on in the year. This is a song I wrote when I was telling you guys I lived out in Colorado for 10 years, doing all original rock and roll out there. And one of our favorite places to play as a band out there was the Snake River Saloon up in Summit County. Now, there's people out there that are probably aware of that. That place is still there. It's like a log cabin structure on the west side of the road as you're going up to A Basin. We did a lot of skiing up in that area, and anybody just skiing, they'll know where this place is. It's right off the road. And the river ran behind it and inspired this song. It's called River Gonna Talk. A friend of mine, he used to sing to me all the time. It was his reputation, but then again, he used to sing to me and I'd sing to him while I'm down here by the river, sitting beneath the tree. I'm gonna listen to the river, not the river gonna talk to me. Summer wind was a friend of mine. From the ocean to the mountain pine, I used to sing soothing rain. Now it's flooding hurricane, and I'm down here by the river, sitting beneath the tree. I'm gonna listen to the river gonna talk to me. Mother Earth was a friendly face, with a fertile beauty in her patient ways. I could throw her seeds from the burlap sack. You know I gave to her and she gave back. Well, I'm down here by the river, sitting beneath the tree. I'm gonna listen to the river, like the river gonna talk to me. I wonder if those days are gone. Blue Jay, he don't know his song. Summer wind won't keep me cool. Oh, Mother Earth, what are we doing to you? Well, I'm down here by the river, sitting beneath the tree. I'm gonna listen to the river, the river gonna talk to me. Well, I'm down here by the river, sitting beneath the tree. I was gonna listen to the river, but the river won't talk. No, the river won't talk to me.
Man, David G. Smith. I mean, I would, Joe, I think we even have time for like one more question. If you want a quick one, if you have anything to ask David for, or anything we should touch on, David, you could chime in as well. Think we have mentioned shout out where people can find you one more time is what I would say probably then.
Yeah, davidgsmithmusic.com. And if you just Google David G. Smith with the spaces in between there, music, that'll get you everything you want and ad nauseum out there. And we're on all the socials, you know, the TikTok, Blue Sky, X, even LinkedIn, Facebook, all of that. But YouTube, and a lot of the songs that I played today, plus others, there's video out there. It's free. You can stream the stuff free on YouTube. David G. Smith Music will find that for you. And we get to work with people that work with Jason Isbell, of course, KMA, Chris Stapleton, Emmylou Harris, India Ari. I mean, we're working with some of the best that Nashville has to offer. So on the cool side of the river down there. And I'm so lucky to be doing and working with the people I'm working with.
Yeah, well, I mean, David, we're definitely glad to have you in. I mean, Drew, anything else you want to add to one more question for David before we let him go at all?
David, real quick, just rattle off. I'd love to hear who are your biggest influences.
I kind of thought that at the very beginning as well, because there's about four
yeah.
different ones I was thinking of.
Oh, there's so many, and each kind of shows up, I think. But Leonard Cohen, as far as songwriters, Joni Mitchell, Leonard Cohen, early on, the vocals of Crosby, Stills, Nash, along with their songwriting. Bright Eyes later on,
Hey.
And then some of the Nashville writers. This is my David Olney impression with the hat on here. Love David Olney. He wrote Deeper Well for Emmylou Harris and others. And he's played here with Sergio Webb right here at the Depot. But it kind of, there's so many. And then you get into the blues people.
Sure.
And the way that they wrote songs in the first place. And just, there's so much to be inspired by, you know. And Blind Willie's one of my favorites. He's got music floating around space right now on the Voyager. You know, you talk about where can a song take you? Whoa. I mean, he's up there with Bartok.
Out of this world.
Yeah, he's out of this world.
Literally, David G. Smith, thank you for coming on Century Session. So glad to have you on. So glad Bill Hillman hooked this all up. Thank you guys all for listening. Yeah. Drew, thanks for being in the studio once again. We'll round you guys off. We'll be back with Larry Dunn on the 25th here for our third Century Sessions. Thanks and shout out to David G. Smith once again here for coming for this one. Go and check him out at the Depot Deli tomorrow here in downtown Shenandoah. Check out everything he has to offer on those socials. Like he said, just check him out anywhere. Just go ahead and Google it. David, thanks for coming in. Sharon, thank you for coming in. Nice to meet you guys.
Thanks.
See you guys all with Larry Dunn, and check us out whenever and send on the good word to the Century Sessions.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the KMA Century Sessions.